Stories told by ordinary people. Ordinary people also told stories, composed poems and songs, sang, danced, and performed plays. Some of these are preserved in collections of stories such as the Jatak, and the Panchatantra. Which were written down around this time. Stories from the Jatakas were often shown on the railings of stupas and in paintings in places such as Ajanta. Here is one such story. Page number 122. The story of the Monkey King. Once upon a time, there was a great monkey king who lived on the banks of the Ganga in the Himalayas with 80,000 followers. They fed on the fruit of a special mango tree. Which were very sweet. Such exquisite mangoes did not grow on the plains. One day, a ripe mango fell into the river and floated all the way to Varanasi. There, the king of the city, who was bathing in the river, found it and was amazed when he tasted it. He asked the foresters of his kingdom whether they could find the tree for him. And they led him all the way to the Himalayas. There, the king and his courtiers had their fill of mangoes. At night, the king discovered that the monkeys were also feasting on the fruit and decided to kill them. However, the king of the monkeys worked out a plan to save his followers. He broke off branches of the mango tree and tied them to form a bridge across the river and held on to one end till all his followers crossed over. Exhausted with the effort, he fell down and lay dying. The human king saw what had happened and tried unsuccessfully to revive the monkey. When he died, the king mourned his death and paid him full respect. This story is shown on a piece of sculpture found from a stupa at Bharhut in central India. Can you identify which parts of the story are shown in the sculpture? Why do you think these were chosen? A picture is shown on this page describing the story of the Monkey King. Page number 123. Writing books on science. This was also the time when Aryabhat, a mathematician and astronomer, wrote a book in Sanskrit known as the Aryabhatyam. He stated that day and night were caused by the rotation of the earth on its axis. Even though it seems as if the sun is rising and setting every day. He developed a scientific explanation for eclipses as well. He also found a way of calculating the circumference of a circle, which is nearly as accurate as the formula we use today. Varaha Mihir, Brahmagupta, and Bhaskaracharya were some other mathematicians and astronomers who made several discoveries. Try and find out more about them. Zero. While numerals had been used earlier, mathematicians in India now invented a special symbol for zero. This system of counting was adapted by the Arabs. And then spread to Europe. It continues to be in use throughout the world. The Romans used a system of counting without using zero. Try and find out more about it. Ayurveda. Ayurveda is a well-known system of health science that was developed in ancient India. The two famous practitioners of Ayurveda in ancient India were Charak, 1st and 2nd centuries CE, and Sushrut, 4th century CE. Charak Samhita, written by Charak, is a remarkable book on medicine. In his treatise Sushrut Samhita, Sushrut speaks about elaborate surgical procedures. Keywords: stupa, temple, painting, epic, story, Purana, science mathematics. Elsewhere, paper has become a part of our daily lives. The books we read are printed on paper. And we use paper for writing. Paper was invented in China about 1900 years ago. By a man named Kai Lun. He beat plant fibers, cloth, rope, and the bark of trees, soaked these in water, and then pressed, drained, and dried the pulp to create paper. Even today, handmade paper is made through a similar process. The technique of making paper was a closely guarded secret for centuries. It reached Korea about 1400 years ago and spread to Japan soon after. It was known in Baghdad about 1800 years ago. From Baghdad, it spread to Europe, Africa, and other parts of Asia, including the subcontinent. What were manuscripts in early India made out of? Hint: see Chapter 1. Page number 124. Imagine you are sitting in a mandap of a temple. Describe the scene around you. Let's recall. 1. Match the following. Stupa, Shikhar, Mandap, Garbhagrihi. Pradakshina Path, place where the image of the deity is installed. Mound. Circular path around the stupa. Place in temples where people could assemble. Tower. Two. Fill in the blanks. A. Fill in the blank was a great astronomer. B. Stories about gods and goddesses are found in the fill in the blank. C. Fill in the blank is recognized as the author of the Sanskrit Ramayana. D. Fill in the blank and fill in the blank are two Tamil epics. Some important dates. Beginning of stupa building. 2,300 years ago. Amaravati. 2,000 years ago. Kalidas. 1,600 years ago. Iron pillar. Temple at Bhitargaon. Paintings at Ajanta. Aryabhat. 1,500 years ago. Durga Temple. 1,400 years ago. Page number 125. Let's discuss. 3. Make a list of the chapters in which you find mention of metal working. What are the metals objects mentioned or shown in those chapters? Four. Read the story on page number 122. In what ways is the Monkey King similar to or different from the kings you read about in chapter 5 and 10? Find out more and tell a story from one of the epics. Let's do. Number 6. List some steps that can be taken to make buildings and monuments accessible to differently abled people. Number 7. Try and list as many uses of paper as you can. Number 8. If you could visit any of the places described in this chapter, which would you choose and why?